everybody. Welcome back to There's a First Time for Everything. This is episode 6, my first episode with the green screen. And as you can see, I chose wisely with the Mount Rushmore of pieces of shit. I think we can all agree pretty much on all 4 of those. I guess maybe there's a Trump supporter or 2 that listens, but here we are. And like I said, episode 6, where I bring on a comic friend of mine who will tell their first time story in some way, shape, or form. And the first time that I met our next guest, again, it was here at the club in Des Moines. And I just remember seeing this dude for the first time and not understanding how the fuck he was as good as he was. There was just something about him, man. He's one of those guys that just knew who he was, and he was 100% himself on stage from the jump, and you just kind of knew things would progress. And now he's on the Anthony Cumia show every freaking day, which is most of our dream. I mean, we all listen to, most of us comics listen to Opie and Anthony Anthony Cumia is held in very high regard to us. And the fact that one of my friends is sitting next to that dude every day is pretty amazing. So everybody, my guest today, my good friend, Dave Landau.
Well, hello,
Dave. How are you, buddy?
Good, man. How about you?
Good. I see you're in a hotel. You're doing a show?
I am in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio, in a Hilton. It's exciting.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got to go to the Republican states to do shows.
Yeah, pretty much. Also, it's the Anthony Cumia show, so my fans are technically in those states. A lot of them.
Oh yeah. He's kind of a conservative dude, right?
Yeah, he would be considered a fan of one of the pieces of shit, as you say, on the Mount Rushmore behind you.
How does that work? Because you're pretty liberal, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm liberal, but I don't believe in any institution, so it doesn't really matter to me. I don't think Biden and President Kamala is the answer either. So I don't care about either. I can see fault and logic in both sides and both arguments, to be honest. And people can say that's a centrist or an easy view, but to fully champion one side of these assholes makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm on the same train you are, dude. The two-party system in general is just stupid, in my opinion. Like, I believe that we should have several options. That's the way it was supposed to be. And now what we've done is we've created just this never-ending episode of Survivor.
Yeah, it's now just a reality show, and since there's no sports or anything else, it's become what consumes everyone. And now with riots and COVID and everything else, it's like any advancement we have or progress as a people is pretty much out the window at this point, and we're just screwed until I think we should just say, look, there's 2 presidents and you're both gone within like a matter of weeks if you don't fix this. No politician gets paid until you fix this. And then we can see what happens, because all this is one group tries to get in one thing, the other one blocks it. It's all it's ever been. Mm-hmm. So I just have no faith in the system, because it's all about one agenda, and that makes no sense to me.
Yeah, and doing whatever you can to stop the other one. Like, there's no middle ground ever reached. It's like, no, you just can't do that.
Yeah, and every argument I hear, depending on which side, it is pointless to me, where it's like you have the AOC supporters where it's like, yeah, that's great, she stopped Amazon from going to Brooklyn, and you're right, Amazon's evil because it's a corporation, except for all the restaurants that could have survived and all the jobs it could have given to people could have gotten. But let's be mad because a guy made money. Let's hate capitalism. Let's go for socialism because that works so well in Russia, works so well in Cuba. So it's like, it's all human greed. That's the problem, is as long as people want power, that's all it's going to be, is about power. And I don't I just don't trust any of it.
Well, I've always actually said that I believe we were screwed as soon as Babe Ruth started making more money than the president. Like,
Yeah.
once that happened, once an athlete made more money than the president, from that point forward, in a capitalistic society, our best and brightest now are going to go for power rather than. But if the president of the United States was the highest paid job in the country, you would see our best and brightest running.
Yeah, I mean, Babe Ruth did his job.
Yeah.
That's the difference. I mean, he made the money because he did what he was supposed to do. He hit home runs. I'm sure he missed a lot of them, and a bunch of kids died as a result of it. But he definitely did his job. I mean, that's the difference. Is like, yeah, I can get mad at LeBron's paycheck, but he's doing what you told him to. You're buying the jerseys, you're buying the tickets. At this point, is there even basketball, or is every team just called Black Lives Matter? Like, I don't even know anymore. I don't care.
Or unity or love.
Yes, unity, love. The name of a guy a cop shot. Like, that's every player. Yeah, and that's I have to have that argument with people where it's like, yeah, I agree. A lot of people have been abused by the police, including myself, and a lot of people haven't. A lot of people just deserve to get shot because they're fucking running at cops with a knife. It's like, sorry, there's a gray area that everyone's missing. So I think the world exists in a gray area, and we have a black and white party system that is just pointless, man.
Yeah, I agree. Every issue is so much more nuanced than everybody wants to make it, and every human being is so much more nuanced than everybody wants to admit.
Yes.
And so all these the fact that if you have a belief in any issue, whatever side you're on an issue, that makes it an inherently liberal or conservative belief. Like if you're pro-choice, that automatically makes you a liberal about everything. And it's like, no, that's actually not true. I am pro-choice, but I also believe in guns. Like, believe people should be able to own guns.
Yeah, I especially do now, because now I own one, and I never thought I would. I've never been pro-gun until recently. I'm like, well, guess I'm gonna have to get me one of them.
So what brought that about? Was it being around Anthony so much, and he's just got guns galore, or
he drinks a lot, and it's to defend myself. No, I mean, Anthony is truly a responsible gun owner. I mean, I've met very few guys who are NRA kind of people who aren't responsible gun owners. I mean, everybody, they got them locked up. They care about it. I learned how to shoot recently, even though my dad was in the Army. We weren't a gun family. So I learned how to shoot not too long ago from a Marine. So I really learned how to, like, I'd spend hours and hours learning how to load clips, like be as careful as possible. Like, I really wanted to know how to properly handle a weapon, and I didn't really want to own one, but now with the amount of just hate and everything going on, yeah, it's just a matter of protection, and it sucks because I've never been that guy, but at this point, who knows what's going to happen? And like you said, everybody's so nuanced and everybody's so layered that we're now at this point where if you don't pick a side or you slightly disagree, you're just pushed to the other side. And that's what I don't get. It's like you said about abortion. It's like, I don't think, I completely think that it's a woman's choice. It's a woman's body. It's her choice. But then somebody's like, well, it's 6 months. I'm like, yeah, if you can't decide if you want to keep the kid by the time it's old enough to speak, you're kind of a dick. It's sort of on you. It's like also like, well, what about in situations of rape? It's like, of course, I think you should be able to get an abortion. I think most people would agree with that.
Yeah.
If they were behind closed doors and being logical, it's like, yeah, nobody thinks you should raise your rape baby if you don't want to. Yeah. I get it.
I think almost everybody is an unwanted pregnancy away from being pro-choice.
Yeah, and oh my God. And all you have to do is walk through a Walmart and go, yeah, you should definitely start making it more mandatory than even,
right.
It.
Well,
There's so many things, man.
to me, to force someone to have a child they don't want is a fate worse than death for that child. There is nothing worse than being raised by parents that don't want you.
There's exactly. And then they say, well, there's people that want kids, you can give it up. It's like, well, that's very easy to say. It's a lot harder to do, to give up your child, and then sometimes people have the kid and decide they want it. There's all sorts of different situations. Like you said, there's this massive gray area, but we've stopped being individuals. And we've all just started, like, we are divided in half. Look at this election.
Like, directly, like, right, seriously down the middle.
If any of the stuff that I've read, and I'm not a conspiracy guy, about how we just are supposed to be divided in half and hate each other as a nation and all these powers working together, it's the only thing that makes any sense anymore, because look at the map, dude. It's where whoever designed it, it worked perfectly.
Oh, yeah. And you look at that map, and it looks, like we truly are down the middle divided. And I mean, I pretty much believe that. But at the same time, it looks that way color by color. But you look at the numbers, and it's like Biden's ahead by 4 million and some odd votes overall.
It depends what you're watching now. It's like
that's true too. Yeah. You have one, like the Associated Press says he's got Nevada's called, and then CNN says no. And
well, yeah, I do Fox Nation regularly. I do Fox Across America, and they are being completely hated on right now because they're being called a liberal, terrible news source, because they're not just completely taking Trump's side. So you have to hear a bunch of people attack Fox, which it's all kind of crazy to me, man. Like but did you watch The Social Dilemma?
I started it, but I never I didn't get through the whole thing, but I know the idea.
Yeah, it's nothing too amazing. The idea that advertising is using, advertising has always used the media or a form of media to manipulate you. That's what commercials are. That's what, buying anything is sort of a manipulation. So, but it's all about how we're being divided directly in half, and some people are getting info that you're not getting, and that's why there's basically two internets, and that's why you're saying Biden's 4 million ahead, yet I can look at my phone right now and it's saying that Trump is 16 million ahead. It just doesn't matter, it just doesn't. There's information to back up anything that you want now, and I have no idea what's true.
Yep, because at some point it became not about the truth or being right. It became about being first.
Yes,
and so they don't care if it's correct or not. It's what are they gonna click on right now?
Yeah, the way I see is go back to, it's a Scantron electronic system. Why are you hand counting ballots like it's 1830? There's no reason in 2020 this should even be an issue. In Zimbabwe, there's a guy who's never seen a shirt before who's using a Scantron. It's like, just add it up. Like
a guy who's never seen a shirt before.
It's insane. We have the technology to do this correctly. And the way I see it is, I don't want, just because it's your guy, you want them to win by cheat. I don't. Look, if Trump's the guy that's picked, that's who's picked. If Biden's the guy who's legitimately picked, put him in office. Like, don't just go, well, too bad. It's like, no, it's not too bad. It's a democratic system. So let in the person who had the majority, or dust off, part of Richmond and divide this thing in half. Have two White Houses. I think it's still there, right? Wait, you cut out. Did I lose you, or did you lose me? Oh,
there we go.
Mute. That's it.
I say, I muted to take a drink, and it didn't come back on.
We both have a Yeti, don't we?
So the Patrick Henry Church is there too. So they would have to go to church there every Sunday as president, because that's where the "Give Me Liberty" or "Give Me Death" speech occurred. There'd just be all this history all the time.
Yes, at one of Edgar Allan Poe's houses were there.
Have you been there?
I have. Yeah, it's awesome.
You thought it was awesome? I was so fucking disappointed.
I just like history. I like the whole area. I thought the whole I don't know what's left of it. I'm not sure how many statues have been taken down at this point, but the whole area is fascinating to see. It's good. It's good to see history as opposed to
oh yeah, and
pretend it didn't happen.
The plantations and stuff. Like, but see, for me, I went to the Patrick Henry Church and the Edgar Allan Poe Museum the same day, and the Edgar Allan Poe Museum is pitched to you as if it's the house he was born in.
Oh, right, yeah.
So, like, you're like, oh, cool. You know, this is where Edgar Allan Poe was born and blah, blah, blah. Well, then you go and you find out the house he was born in was like 5 blocks away and torn down. They used this house because it's been around since that time.
Oh, yeah. I've been in a couple of it. Okay, there's one near Dearborn, Michigan that was place there that's pretty cool that he lived at one point. But it's exactly, wow, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Now it's ruined for me. I liked it when I saw it.
Like
I probably should have read the whole sign.
Yeah, it was all on the sign when you come in the door. This is not actually his house.
Yeah, I completely just assumed it was legit and walked through the house.
And then they have that like garden area or whatever that they have weddings in and shit. So that's really the draw of the place.
I didn't think it would be amazing though. I just thought it'd be some shithole because it was so bleak.
Yeah, and I didn't think it'd be amazing as in like in that way. I thought it would just be an amazing piece of history. Like I thought I would go in there and just see stuff that I don't know what I expected to see, to be honest.
Just poems you've read, like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Who fucking knows? But I don't know what I expected to see. But
yeah,
I remember seeing a baby spoon that was like, "This is the spoon his mom fed him with." And
I remember that. Yeah.
What the fuck? I'm supposed to go. Oh, cool!
Wow. He ate food.
The spoon. Stuff. The thing that she dipped in the Gerber before.
Wow.
Oh my God. And then they had like because back then every baby basically wore a dress all the time. Like,
they all did. Yeah.
Those days they always had that long white.
And then young men had the velvet pantsuit, like a cartoon dandy.
Like the dude from AC/DC.
Yes. Yeah, like is it Brian Johnson? Yeah.
Or Angus.
Angus Young.
Yeah, Angus Young. Every fucking kid dressed like Angus Young.
Yeah, exactly.
How fucking funny was that?
I can't imagine
walking around like that.
There was I think it had to have been Family Guy because it was a cutaway where he's just in that fucking outfit rocking out, and he's just like, I really didn't expect to have to wear this my whole career. It does probably have to suck to put that on every time. Just go, I could have just wore jeans to the studio the first day.
Yeah, but could you imagine being on the road? Do you think he has a whole bunch of those, or he just has one?
It just stinks.
Oh,
it's just. I hope he has many.
I mean, what if he's honestly worn that one his whole career?
It's no one's near him then ever. You can't clean that.
I remember one of my first road gigs. I was opening for Merrifield on that old Doug and Dana run to Dickinson, North Dakota, to La Crosse. I'm sure you did it. I
never did Doug and Dana stuff.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, okay.
No, I've been blessed with every other shit tour, but not. I just it never was appealing enough.
Yeah.
To where I would come from Detroit to do it.
Yeah, that makes sense. For me, I was willing to drive the 12 hours for the $100.
At times I have. Don't get me wrong.
I know.
To terrible places.
But that's what happens. See, like, at no point, I didn't have that moment in my career where I was like, yeah, fuck that. Like, no. Like, I just did everything.
Yeah, in the beginning I did, and that just wasn't on the table. And I'm glad by the time that was offered, I could be like,
you were able to go, no.
Yeah, luckily, yeah.
So anyway, at that time, I just had Merrifield came on last week, the day that you ended up having a show and had to cancel. I had Maryfield.
Okay.
And so we were talking about that whole run, and at that time I wore the same outfit on stage every night. Like I didn't wear it otherwise, but like
you just brought your stage outfit.
I brought my stage outfit. I can't believe that there was a time in my life where I had a stage outfit. Could you? That's what makes me think like Angus Young, like the dude decided he had a stage outfit and had to have it forever. Like,
yeah, I can't. I would never. We've all been through that as comics, though, where we're like, maybe I'll wear the sport jacket, or maybe I'll wear the whatever else because I can't figure out my own identity. And it's the worst. We've all gone through a phase.
Oh yeah,
look back and are like, I hate me.
I got to where it just was like I just want to be comfortable.
That's like, what I do.
Wear what makes me comfortable on. And last like Thanksgiving, I was on my way to a gig and I stopped at a Walmart to get my oil changed, and I'm walking through the Walmart and I see this Santa Claus tracksuit. It's like velvet and has a huge like Santa Claus thing on the back of it and on the front. And that's what I don't know if you ever saw last Christmas time I was doing those Joey Claus. I made up this Joey Claus character, which was Santa's naughty little brother that delivers the lumps of coal. So I wear this outfit and I'm like, yo, Joey Claus.
Yeah,
Joey
there's
Claus,
only
dude. And so I wore that. I bought that. I was on my way to Colorado Springs, and I'm good friends with the club owner of Looney's in Colorado Springs, Eric, and he's one of those guys that wouldn't give a fuck what I did.
Right.
So like I literally wore that outfit every night, every show. I wore that stupid fucking Santa tracksuit. And at the end of it, I was like, I think I might just get a whole shit ton of tracksuits made, and I'll just wear a fucking tracksuit on stage every night.
I had that same thought when I sold ecstasy in the early 2000s. When I used to wear velour tracksuits.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like all the time?
All the time. And dude, it's because it really was for comfort, because I was
totally, they're so comfortable.
Yeah, I had actually broke my leg in a nasty beer spilled linoleum floor accident, and I realized how comfortable they were. So I just continued to wear velvet tracksuits until eventually I was like an adult, and my wife, a girlfriend at the time, was like, "You need to stop this. You're not Pauly Walnuts. It's absurd."
You have a necklace? Please tell me you wore a necklace.
Oh, bro, dude, I wore, the second I could buy a Figaro chain from Pearson Pagoda when I was 15. Gucci chain, herringbone, usually silver because I couldn't afford gold. Rings. I had 6 earrings at one point. Yeah, no, I was a bedazzled little wigger for a while. So, and I'm only part Italian. I'm not even full, but I figure I'm also part Irish. Yeah. And according to the movie The Town, there's no difference.
Pull off both, bro. Yeah.
Right.
You could have been Danny Green just as well as Pauly Walnuts.
Exactly.
Could have been either one.
It's all trash, no matter what ethnicity you want to throw under it.
Dude, I can't even fucking Landau in the trash because you're the perfect. You're like the perfect size, even.
Oh yeah, I'm not a big guy, but it looks like.
Dude, you were fucking every fucking like used car salesman that I grew up around that had like a fucking wad of cash in his tracksuit pocket.
Of course, yeah. It's like he's
pull it out, fucking here you go, fucking
here you go. Here you go, little for you, little for me. I keep some of this. There's a guy, I will never forget this. It was in Iowa. I guess he was arrested recently because somebody sent me the article, but he was a tracksuit guy. And he came out and saw me. This had to be over a decade ago. But he's like, "Hey, what are you doing tomorrow? I'm a big fan. I want to take you to Applebee's." I'm like, "What?" I swear to God, Applebee's. He's like, "It's going to be real nice." And he picks me up in a limousine. He took me to Applebee's. I swear to God. And it was me. I think it was Nate Ford, a couple other people. So we go to Apple, and he's the worst. My buddy Marty, like, he's the worst human being I may have ever met. So he's like, "We're just still going to have a nice sit down dinner here at the neighborhood grill Applebee's." And later on that night, we got into his limo to get a ride home from the club. Because he had gone to the show again, and he forced us at a strip club to go to a strip club. And I know that sounds weird, like force you, but I'm not 19 at the time. Sneaking.
You were
over
an adult
Canada.
man that could have done anything you wanted.
I could give a shit. I just want to go home. I don't need to see a 19-year-old drug addict grind on my knee. So I'm like, all right, this is great. I guess we're gonna go to a strip club, and we had to sit there for an hour. Just bored while this guy's just like getting a hand job in the champagne room. And the whole time he's just obnoxious. He's like, "Put anything on the tab." And he would text me randomly whenever I was in town, like, "You in the mood for some Applebee's?" Because you had to rate it in his voice. I'm like, I hate this man. I heard recently he was arrested for like stealing $30,000 from clients or whatever the hell he did. But God, I hope he goes to prison forever.
What? Okay.
At least he gets knifed in the shower.
Okay, though, here's the thing. You went with him the first night. So what made that decision happen?
To go to Applebee's?
Yes.
Nate Ford, who I will call out, knew him, and Nate was opening for me. So he's like, "No, the guy's cool." I was like, "All right."
How the fuck did he know him? From like before or something?
Yeah, I think from
Feature in Another Week or something.
Yeah, like the guy came to the club a lot and likes to take the comics out to strip clubs. And
oh my
Applebee's.
God! Does he have a bunch of tattoos?
Probably. It's probably the guy you're thinking.
Yeah.
There's very few people who have an old limousine. I took a picture of the limo parked in front of Applebee's, and just it was absurd. And he was just sitting at the end of the table, just like, "Get whatever you want." What do you want? The fettuccine?
At Applebee's.
He's like, "You want? Yeah,
money's no object. You know.
Yeah, it's no big deal. You can get the star-spangled ravioli. You can get the all-American burger. It's all a theme here." Like, you're the worst. Just doing coke all night. You're like, oh God.
Hey, it turns out they got the lobster tail this
Yeah,
week.
exactly. It's pretty good. I don't know how they do it for $8.99, but they do it.
It's because it's a national chain. They can order. They have one Cisco order for the whole country.
Well, they order from the Red Lobster, fisherman's market. They send. It's not a high end. It's like what I live in New York, and it's like when I walk by, not so much anymore, but when I walk by Olive Garden in the middle of Times Square, it's like, do you know where you are?
What the fuck?
It's like there's the greatest Italian food in America, and you're like, "Oh, let's go to Olive Garden." Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Hey, you got the all-you-can-eat breadsticks today?
Yeah. Oh, wow. They got that in New York too, huh?
Oh,
can I get endless salad?
Here I thought we were going to have trouble finding places to eat.
Yeah, exactly. No, thank God. Every chain restaurant imaginable is right in the heart of this fine city.
They got McDonald's too.
Oh, look at that. A TGI Fridays. Every day's Friday there.
Yeah. And they have those appetizer specials.
Yeah, it's such a good deal.
Do you want to get the sampler platter, or do you just want to do like cheese sticks and potato skins?
Yeah, it's up to you. Boy, I sure hope our son doesn't OD on fentanyl again while we're on vacation. Completely aloof to how the world works.
When did you officially move to New York?
Well, I still live in Detroit, but I have an apartment in New York. We were gonna move there, and then it became the shittiest city on earth. And I
During
love New
COVID,
York.
yeah.
Oh, dude, even before, but
Yeah.
since De Blasio, and the Cuomo brothers, Fredo and douchebag, man.
Everybody's missing Giuliani.
Oh God, dude, I hate him if you want, but it was a nice place when he ran it. But they do need to bring back the mob. The mob needs to take back over it. Get him in charge of garbage. You know, you're not going to have the problems there that we have with. There's nobody, dude. You can't walk to get coffee without seeing a guy who looks like Tiny Zeus Lister in a blue wig vomiting all over the sidewalk. Like, it is the worst city. Okay.
Hey, boy. Hey.
Yes.
Hey, boy.
You want dick? You want to suck your dick?
Hogan.
That transgender fella took my chain.
But he wasn't looking at me at all the whole time.
It was strange. It's like Terry Crews if somebody hit him with a shovel. Googly eyed.
And they, you know what? That is fucking right on, actually.
It is. He's
constantly did the PEX thing. Both of them.
Yeah. Terry Crews is just much more friendly, whereas Zeus, you're like, oh, dude. Watching
you're gonna cry when he gets in the car.
Oh yeah. Watching No Holds Barred is a movie. That movie is written by a 6-year-old. Yes. He's like, you stupid jockhead. You're like, who wrote this? Why was that the line? No, a room of people, a grade?
This isn't the basic cable version that I'm watching right now. This was in the script.
Yeah, it's like, you jock ass. You're like, oh no. Who wrote this?
Dude, my friends and I that I grew up with to this day do the what's that smell?
Oh yeah, you have to.
It's dicky.
Well, the best is when he's having a dinner party, so he's in his dinner company, which is, or he's in his dinner attire, which is just a
sleeveless tuxedo,
a white thong, and a sleeveless tuxedo that somehow still has what are the dangly things called? The whole thing has. Oh my God, what are they called? I don't know why I'm blanking.
You're talking about the arm tie
yeah. That his whole outfit has, yet he doesn't have
all
pants.
The time. Tassels.
Yeah, he's layered in tassels, yet he's still just wearing whitey tighties.
And he's a bad motherfucker.
Yeah, offering people wine. He's like wearing his dinner cowboy hat or his dinner bandana. And life imitates art. That's what I loved about him on trial, where the judge is like, look, we need you to tone down your attire. And he's like, all right, so I'll just wear a black bandana and a giant silver cross. And the judge is like, fine, just fine. This is the best you can do.
I didn't see. What was he on trial for?
It was his son's trial for almost killing that kid.
Oh, okay.
Or paralyzing that kid. And yeah, they brought in Hulk, and the judge... He showed up basically in Hulk gear, and the judge was like, you can't do that. Please wear proper court attire. So he shows up in a black bandana,
instead
a black
of a red,
shirt.
One.
Yeah, a black and a giant platinum cross. And it's like, fine. That's if that's the best you're gonna get. He has a head injury, Your Honor.
At least it's less loud.
Exactly. Then they just have to play the tape of him on a jail phone with his son going, listen, little dude, we don't got to worry about that kid anymore. It's like, well, that's going to help.
I took care of him, brother.
Yeah, it's no problem. Take your clothes off, brother. That's how he has sex.
First of all, you call your son brother.
Yeah, and everyone, little dude. Come on, little dude. It's fine that I bought you beer and then you paralyzed your friend. We're in no way responsible. Such a garbage human being. Vince McMahon has endangered more human beings than anyone on the planet.
And is he not just an asshole? I mean, It's unbelievable. I mean, he could be the next Trump. Like, I could see Vince McMahon running for president in
Yes.
like 8 years.
Oh, absolutely, I could, and I would vote for it just to see what happened. Because I don't care anymore.
Because it's idiocracy. Because Terry Crews is the fucking president.
Well, I mean, they legalized small amounts of crack and heroin in Oregon. I'm not even kidding. This is real.
I know.
Yeah. And I can only imagine where that would go, where it's like just a little bit of steroids, guys. We can just do a little bit, just enough to where it doesn't hurt when we blacken your brain on the mat before you take out your family.
Oh, have you watched any of that Dark Side of Wrestling series?
Oh yeah.
How good is that, dude?
It's great.
That Benoit 2-parter was one of the most heartbreaking things I've ever watched in my life.
He had the brain of an 85-year-old Alzheimer's patient. Have you ever read Ring of Hell?
No.
It's fascinating. I mean, it's definitely somewhat biased, but it talks about the heart compound and the amount of torture that he put himself through before even going over to Japan and wrestling. And it's like, dude, he just was destroyed mentally, and like really talented guy, but just really overcompensated in every way until his brain was just dead.
Yeah, because he was like your size.
Yeah, he's a small dude. Yeah, man. And he's
a fucking professional wrestler. I mean, my son is a professional like that's his thing now. He's 18.
That's awesome.
He's wrestling. And that's what I worry about with him. It's like
the CTE.
Well, it's just like being a comic, except now, dude, I was driving 12 hours for $100. He's driving a few hours to get the shit kicked out of him and maybe get 20 or 40.
But it's probably like, better on him emotionally.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's happier than I've ever seen him, and it's great. But I worry about that. He's a small dude, so like if he's actually gonna commit to the level to where he goes to a level where he can make a living at it, he's gonna have to really make a lot of sacrifices physically and everything else, like a guy like Benoit did. And that's what I worry about, is because if he's gonna go that far, he's gonna have to go to that level. And I'm afraid of him going to that level.
Of course, you don't want him to be hurt. And I think where Benoit went is a different thing. I really do. What he put himself through.
Yeah, it's like off the deep end shit.
Right. And then if you're not abusing roids, I mean, if you're not Eddie Guerrero, in your early 30s brushing your teeth and your heart explodes, I think you have a better chance.
Brushing your teeth and your heart explodes.
But it's and luckily he's not in the days of ECW with all the glass and nails. And,
oh my God! Did you watch the New Jack episode
of ECW?
No,
Dark
Side of the Ring.
Yeah, Dark Side of the Ring. Yeah,
dude, how fucking nuts is that guy?
A lot of them are, though. Even Mick Foley back, because I remember when Mick Foley was Cactus Jack fighting with ECW.
Oh, yeah.
And this was before he fell through the cage in front of his family and was like, I should stop.
Yeah.
And that one's nuts. And then you've seen Beyond the Mat, haven't you?
Yes.
Which is like, you don't actually see Jake the Snake smoking crack, but you're aware it's happening.
When he's like, well, what the hell?
Yeah. It's like, he's like, you're right. It's like, it's hard to be on the road. You're just fucking groupies 3 at a time, ring girls, prostitutes. You go home, your wife wants to make love. That's just not going to happen. This is great.
But did you see the episode I'm talking about?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
I did. Yes, I did. Sorry.
But I mean, he fucking sliced that fat kid like all over the
dude. It's nuts.
Like he's literally basically stabbing a dude to death in front of a crowd of people
while they cheer.
in a hotel banquet room.
It always was. Well, I would see those kind of matches at the fairgrounds in Detroit. So it was you would either see a Ted Nugent show, an actual rodeo, or guys in the ring killing each other with barbed wire. Those were pretty much the 3 shows that went on at the Detroit Fairgrounds. So it's like, yeah, a guy getting stabbed and on top of hay.
I'm in.
Oh yeah, it was great. I was 17. I'm like, yeah, let's go down to the ghetto and watch people hurt each other.
But we all, I mean, I think most comics, it's in our DNA to love a train wreck like that, though.
I think it's in most people's. Look at the world.
Yeah. I guess
we're
I'm trying to separate us because, like, so that we're somehow better than everybody else or something.
Oh no, we're not. We're worse.
Fuck these fucking peasants.
Yeah, look at these.
Look at these guys. We just watch them. We watch them be fuck ups all the time.
Yes. Yeah. No.
Meanwhile, here I am with fucking Weinstein behind me, go after my second divorce.
Right. Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm gonna go
better than these fuckheads.
Yes. Yeah. I'm gonna go on stage tonight and talk about my 13 arrests. But yeah, I'm so much better than all of you. It's like you really turned yourself around. Yeah, but it took 13 tries.
Does that give you? Do you think you're more empathetic to addiction because of that, or do you think that you're actually worse, like less empathetic?
I'm far more empathetic to addiction and understanding with people. I do have exceptions to that rule when somebody just won't stop and it's gone on for decades. But other than that, yeah, I would say that I have far more empathy for addicts, especially the way that the American population has been manipulated by Big Pharma.
Well, and you kind of, yes, it took 13 times, but it also kind of happened like kind of really fast in a short period of time when you were really young, though, right? Like you kind of got sober at a pretty young age.
27, but now, I mean, I relapsed a couple times, but yeah, most of my arrests, 12 of them, I was under the age of 21, and only one was as technically an adult at 27, and that's when I was like, oh, I should really.
Now there's real consequences to be had because I'm an adult.
Yeah, and I get the book thrown at me, and I was in, I'd never been in solitary confinement and some others. I'd been in a lot of iffy situations, but definitely not as a grown-up where I could really, understand that it was my fault.
There's no tracksuit that can make up for that mind fuck.
There is not, but there is a pair of pants Tommy Hilfiger used to make that had a hidden 5th pocket by the belt loop where nobody ever found my cocaine or ketamine, so jail was a little easier.
Dude, I got busted with, well, I didn't get busted. I got a DUI, like, I don't know. It's been over a decade now, I think. But it was after a show. Canada. It was after a show, and somebody had given me a little nug of weed in like a cigarette cellophane after the show. Like, oh, yeah, of course I took it. It was great.
Sure.
And I put it in that 5th pocket thing, and I forgot about it. So then I get this DUI and I'm in the jail, and the cop that arrested me patted me down and didn't find it. But then in the jail, they fucking checked the pocket, and this chick pulls out this, I mean, it was this big.
Right.
And she pulls it out and holds it up like, oh, look what I got. I found on this guy. I'm just going, oh my God. And I just go, oh, it's not even mine. Some guy gave that to me and I didn't want to say no. So I put it in my pocket and forgot about it.
Was it that night or had it been washed 80 times?
No, it was that night.
Okay.
I'm on my way out. And the thing is, I had no business driving at all.
Right.
Like I had taken like 9 shots of Jaeger on stage.
Yeah, which is why somebody's like, you heading out
them
here.
Up there.
Yeah, you're heading out here some drugs to help with your drive home.
And the hotel was literally like not even a mile. And I had a rental car, so my lights didn't come on automatically like my car does.
I still do that sober.
And I got fucking pulled over for not having I was driving okay. But it was like the main road and it was all lit up. I couldn't tell my lights weren't on.
Right.
And so this guy pulls me over and, oh yeah, I've actually made a bit out of it that's kind of long and that I do on stage and stuff. But long story short, like I thought I could pull into the gas station up to the gas pumps and he's just getting gas and he just kept going. I blew a 0.25.
That's really good.
Yeah. And this, when I had my substance abuse evaluation,
I'm sure Avis was thrilled.
when I had my substance abuse evaluation, the guy, the counselor, whatever the fuck he is, he goes, "So what was your alcohol content?" And I'm like 0.25, and he goes, like over the top of his glasses. Oh, and I'm not supposed to recommend rehab for you.
Yeah, exactly. And you were driving, you're like, uh-huh.
I gave the cop a credit card instead of my license.
That would definitely be a good sign.
But here's what's funny.
What if we just spoke it and left?
I spoke that shit into existence. Like I was thinking in my head, make sure you give him your license.
Of course, yeah.
And I handed him the credit card.
Yeah, here you go. He's like,
but I think what happened was it was because I was pretending I was going to pretend to get gas. So I was taking out my credit card to pay for the gas.
It's a Discover card. He's like, look, just go.
Yeah, like all of a sudden I thought maybe it was like Jersey and they just pump it for you.
So awesome.
Here you go, buddy. This dude was like, he was like really young, like 22 or 20, like fresh out of the academy, you know,
the go-getter who wants to arrest
and just
you for
cocky
everything.
as fuck, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here, sir this, sir that. It just made me feel gross.
Oh yeah.
Like, and the thing is, I remember coming. This is how people become fucking alcoholics. I come home and I'm at the bar. I'm at the Funny Bone bar, and you know Scott, the bartender at the Funny Bone in Des Moines, right?
Yes, of course. And he's got a great DUI story himself on paper.
That is the best. Don't chase me, bro.
Yeah, he really should be happy he got one just for that sheet of paper.
It's actually a fucking public intox. I think it's not even a DUI because he wasn't driving. Him and one of the servers were just fighting in the parking lot. Right. He was fucking bloody, and the cop comes up and he goes, "Don't touch me! I got AIDS from a Colombian prostitute." It's the best fucking. It's on fucking paper.
Oh yeah, every word of it,
dude. And see, that's one of the beauties of fucking comedy clubs and just the people. Like, it's not even necessarily always about comics. The staff at the clubs, they're the best. And like,
oh yeah,
that fucking police report exists behind the bar. It's still there.
It was one of the. Like, I knew him before, and he knew my stories and stuff.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Like, dude, I got to show you. He was so excited to show me. It was like the Wednesday when I walked in. He's like, you got to read this. I was fucking crying.
Oh my God, dude. Yeah, and that was, for me, it was like, I remember thinking to myself, like, I could fucking make it from here. Like I'd be fine, and I'm like trying to barter. Like, come on, man, just like this is really gonna fuck my life up, man.
Yeah, yes.
Like he's the one responsible for my life getting fucked up in that moment. Like, yeah. Dude, you don't have to tell anybody. It's like your little brother all of a sudden, dude, don't tell mom. Yes, I did beat the shit out of you, but don't tell mom.
Don't.
My little brother would, when we were kids, my little brother and I have different dads. And so I went to my dad's house every other weekend. Well, I would make the mistake sometimes of like beating him up before I left.
Sure.
And I wouldn't even think about it. Well, one moment in high school, I sprained my ankle in gym class, and I go to the nurse and I take my shoe off, and it's the most ungodly smell you've ever smelled in your life.
Oh God.
It turned out my little brother, I beat him up before I went to my dad's that weekend, and he fucking went in my closet and pissed all over everything. Pissed in my basketball shoes, on my backpack, all my fucking clothes, and I didn't even know. So I literally went to school for like 3 days just smelling like piss, not even fucking knowing why. Like I was spraying cologne like real heavy on my backpack. I thought I didn't know where I could smell it, but I didn't know what it was or where it came from. I find out about 5 years ago. He goes, "Yeah, I pissed all over your whole fucking closet."
I did that too. My brother and I had done stuff like that too. Well, I shouldn't say stuff. Like he had gotten pissed at me and done some things, and but one summer he got a moped, and he was 15 and he loved it. So I pissed in the gas tank, and he was always outside trying to take it apart because he couldn't figure out why it like wouldn't start right and kept stalling and stuff. And then eventually, I don't know what he opened, but it was just filled with piss, and it came out. He's like, "David, you son of a bitch. Fuck, you pissed in the kitchen." It took him so long to find out that it's just great. Because he had no idea how to fix it.
How did he find out there was piss in there?
I don't think he ever emptied out the gas. Like he couldn't take it anywhere. So he was always trying to work with like whatever gears are on a moped. I have no fucking idea. Until one day, like opened up the gas tank and just realized it was filled with piss.
Did you piss in it more than once?
Yeah.
So it was your toilet for like a week, and he
it was for like a summer until it slowly broke. It ran on piss for a little bit with just a touch of piss.
Oh fuck, dude. Well, there's probably some chemicals in there. Probably something going on that could make
something's going on in my piss that'll help a car run.
Well, you were an alcoholic at the time, so you were pissing ethanol into that.
Yeah, just cleaning the engine.
All right, well, it's about that time we should probably get to the theme of the show. So, Dave Landau, what is your first time story? I actually think this, I might morph this podcast into just calling it the career feature podcast. And I'm just always going to have more successful comics as guests.
That's not a bad idea.
I've had some good ones. I had Tony Rock and Ian Bagg and Pete Lee.
There you go.
I'm getting the but I can't like guys like Bert Kreischer don't answer my calls anymore. Like guys like that. Guys that I partied my balls off with, and we used to talk all the time, and then they've gotten like too famous to like I can't really contribute anything to them. So like the only thing they could do is help me. Like that's the only way any relationship would exist. Is if
there's very few I found that are dying to help you. Bert's a friend of mine, so I'm not shitting on Bert. But yeah,
oh no, me neither. I love him. I mean, I just saw him not too long ago, but guys get so much bigger and so busy. I mean, he's just fucking busy as shit.
Yeah, he's huge right now.
And so I don't. And every once in a while, but back in the day, I mean, that dude would call me on my birthday.
Yeah,
and like. That shit ain't fucking happening now. And I 100% get it. Like, I am not mad at the dude at all or anything.
Oh, yeah. No, I get that.
But he's not going to make time to do this. Like you have, Dave. God damn it.
Well, yeah.
Well, I think COVID's kind of my blessing for starting this, because I think that probably guys like yourself would be too busy otherwise.
No, I would do your show. I'm done. I appreciate the compliment, but let's not kid ourselves. Usually, most shows I just say no to is because I don't want to.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I time is valuable now, just from traveling and doing radio, and then I have my son, which is the most important, and then I have to tour. It's like, it's like there's very little time to be sane and just not focus on something, and very little, So.
Well, and for you, I mean, doing Kumia every day, it's like this is what you're doing all the time. So it's almost like you don't even want to ask you to do it. Like,
no,
you know what I mean?
I don't mind at all. Yeah, I don't mind at all, though. I we've been friends for fucking ever.
So no, definitely. And I love, we also have a lot of the same tastes. Like, do you still have the Cadillac?
I got a new one.
You did?
Yeah. I had the DTS, but I just got an ATS turbo because I got a really good deal on it. What happened was I brought my DTS to get looked at a Cadillac dealership. And I was
let me show you this, Dave.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to see what they had that was new, and I'm like, you know what? I don't really like this. It doesn't have, like, they didn't have the wood grain. They didn't have stuff that I really liked about this big mob car that I drove. And the guy drives my car, and I take really great care of cars. Really, I used to detail cars, so I'm very, very anal. And he's like, look, man, you got a really nice car here. I wouldn't trade it in. He goes, you're going to get a few grand for something that was $50,000 in 2009. He's like, yeah, you should. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I just thought I'd see. And as I'm pulling out, an elderly woman in a Lincoln smashes into the side of me.
Oh my God.
Completely destroying my car. And I had to go back in and be like, so, maybe 1,000. And fortunately, I was looking at
you a few grand.
Yeah, I did all right. And fortunately, I've been looking at this one ATS that it was all-wheel drive. I really, really liked it. It was fast, turbo, and I went in the day to look at it because it had dropped from like 24,000 to 18,000. And then I was waiting, and by the time I got hit and stuff, I ended up getting the car for 16.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I stole this car, and I love it, dude.
That's kind of a similar story, because I remember showing you. I saw you right after I bought my car.
Yeah.
I remember showing you my new car, and I had a similar thing. What I did was I found the same car at 2 different dealerships and just made them fight over me. And then eventually, the one dealership, they just don't want the other guy to get the sell at that point. Like, they'll fucking pay me to take it at that point.
Yeah, it's the best.
And it was the same thing. It was like up around like 23, 24, and I got it for 18.
Yeah, dude, it's great. Yeah, that's what I ended up doing. And the reason why people weren't buying it either for me is because Cadillac owners didn't like the fact that it didn't have a remote start, which I can get after fact. I can get
that's nothing.
Yeah, and it's like I'm probably not even going to, because I don't care that much. It's a smaller car. But it has every other feature.
Yeah, I mean, it's got heated seats and the heated steering wheel and shit.
Stuff.
You don't need it to warm up.
Yeah, it has all that stuff except the remote start, and that's
Do you
why
have a garage?
Dropping. Oh yeah, I keep it in a garage.
Yeah, so what? You don't need remote start if you have a garage, especially.
Yeah, I in no way. Yeah, I do not keep cars. And now that I'm not touring, I've put 4,000 miles on it since January, as opposed to 40,000 that I used to.
Right.
So.
No, that's amazing, dude. Yeah, because you and I are both the big car. I bought a Chrysler 300 because it's the only affordable big car anymore.
Yeah, they're great too. I don't know. Well, they're really not making big ones anymore. When you look at
there's no big cars at all.
No, they brought back the Continental. They're getting rid of it. They brought back the 300 is about as close as you can get, and the ATS I like because it's still a caddy, but People are like, I like the CTS, it's bigger, and it's like, no, they're basically the same size. The DTS was the DeVille touring sedan that I had, was the big mafia car that I loved.
I don't think there was. I miss the like '80s Cadillacs.
Yeah,
the tail lights that were like, you know, I don't know how to describe them, like a fin almost, you know. And
oh, those go back to even the 60s and 70s, like that old sleek design. My mom had a Fleetwood. She had like an 86.
That's the
Fleetwood.
huge one, right?
Huge, and it was blue on blue. And yeah, she worked in Detroit, so it got broken into every other Thursday. But so she eventually was like, I'm just going to buy a GMC Jimmy. But for a while, she drove it.
What? That's something that's kind of gone away. Cars don't really get broke into anymore unless they're actually stealing the car.
The car, or they see something on the seat. Yeah, they really don't.
There's nobody has aftermarket stereos anymore. Like, it's all, you can't break in and steal somebody's fucking touchscreen.
Merrifield at a really nice hotel in Des Moines got his Volkswagen broken into.
Oh, really?
Yeah. When he was featuring for me there, this is a couple years ago, and
that's when we did the podcast at my house.
Yeah,
his podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's why he left all the equipment in the back seat. I don't know why they did it, and it's like, you don't? It's because you put all this shit. And then they ended up I don't even remember. There was some story behind it where I don't even know if they took the equipment.
No, I don't think they did. They didn't know what it was.
No, and they didn't take anything of value. They just stole his Garmin, and this was after Garmins were already getting a little obsolete.
Yeah.
So he's like, I got to buy a new window because you wanted. I was like, I would have just given you the $10 the pawn shop's going to give you to not break my window.
Like, here, dude. All right, let's get the first time story. I got to go watch the Hawks.
Oh, I guess going on the theme, because I've never told this one, is you were talking about going on stage as that Santa character.
Yeah.
This was the first time I went on stage as a character instead of just going on as myself. I was at Crackers in Indianapolis, and Brent Terhune was featuring for me, and it was a fairly late show. It was the late show, and it was fairly light.
That's a stacked lineup, by the way. That motherfucker, dude.
Oh, Terhune's the best, man.
Probably I don't know if there's a better joke writer out there right now, dude.
Oh, he's phenomenal, man. And I am not at all surprised that his character took off. What I am surprised about is how many people
think it's real.
The
YouTube comments that he gets.
And I love that he posts them. Like, I want to shove his beard up his own ass. He takes all the ones that are just grammatically terrible and just posts. Yeah, and I talked about that. He's like, after a while, it does get disheartening, though, where it's like, there's a merch store. It says Comic Brent Terhune.
Oh, it's a nice exercise in the human condition right now. That it's just read a headline, get outraged, period.
And you'll see people just write all this horrible stuff to him, and someone will write, well, this is a comedian, and they're like, oh, I didn't know. And it's like, why is your comment still up?
Yeah.
That's really what I don't get anymore. It's like, why do you leave your mistakes?
I had someone share one of his videos on, like, tweet it at me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. We were like talking sort of politically or whatever, and he posts this as like, can you believe this guy?
You're like, yeah, I can. It's a friend of mine.
Yeah, that's what I did. I go, dude, this dude's a friend of mine. This is satire. You can't fucking tell. And
he's in a
I thought he was serious.
He's in a Prius. You can tell it's a Prius, which the character would never drive, while he's got a back seat filled with toilet paper doing a video on how many scumbags hoard toilet paper and how wrong it is.
And he's in Indianapolis talking in a Southern accent, right? Saying things like, go Coats.
Go Coats. That's what, fuck the NFL and go Coats.
Go Coats.
It's just, and no matter how many times, what does he say? He goes, nah. Actually, right when he finishes a point, he goes, I digest. And people still correct him.
It's digress, you fucking idiot.
And he's like, I know what it is. He sells a Pence shirt, which is the three wolves howling at the moon, except it's Mike Pence. And people still don't get it's crazy.
You know what else you should check out is you got to check out Craig's News. Have you heard of this?
No.
So you know what Kyle Dunnigan is, right?
Yes.
So Kyle Dunnigan has that Craig character that he did on Reno 911.
Great.
Yeah. So he's doing Craig's News. It's CNL, Craig's News Live, and he does it every day.
Watch it.
He does it every day, and I don't know if you know my buddy John Bush. He's lives.
Yeah, I've met John. Yeah.
So Bush is on the show. He plays Mr. Nichols, who is
That's awesome.
Who is his neighbor, and total like straight man. So like Mr. Nichols is like friends with his mom. So,
right.
So in order for Craig to be able to do the show, Mr. Nichols has to be on it, or his mom won't let him do it. And all he does is like everything's boring. Like they play this game, and it's like if you lose the game, you have to listen to a boring story from Mr. Nichols, and they'll cut to a thing where Bush is just like standing in his living room talking about his work hours to his wife or something. So I think I'll work a long Friday, and then I'll do those hours on Monday, and all this is just like boring Nichols news. Yeah, dude, you gotta look it up. It's so fucking funny. I've been watching it every day, just crying, laughing.
I gotta watch it. Yeah,
and the production is amazing. The fact he's doing it every day, and it's like a half hour, and the production is just So anyway, Brent Terhune.
Oh yeah. So because normally I just tell drinking stories, and I'd rather. So
something with more substance.
Yes, or less, right?
Right? Am I right?
Huh? And so Terhune and I are like, we were doing this character all week, which was just this. I ended up doing a bunch of videos about a Dino Landini's prick sauce, but it was just a homosexually repressed gangster. It was just like, yeah, you got to, I ain't saying that there's nothing wrong with being with a man. You just got to try it a few times. That's all. It ain't gay if it's in prison, stupid shit like that.
Oh, yeah, the fucking prick sauce. I remember when you were
I made a prick sauce
videos. In fact, when I started doing Joey Claus, I was kind of afraid you would think I was ripping that off.
Oh, I don't care. It's just
well, of course not. And I'm just as bad with the accent. Like, I thought it would be funny to have a horrible accent.
Yeah, it's a ridiculous Dago character saying to put fucking a nice Sunday gravy on your cock when you suck it. So we're just in the back, and for days we're just doing this character, and I'm like, maybe I should just go up on stage as Dino Landini and get brought up as Dino Landini. So right away, Brent starts writing jokes. So I open the entire. I should slow down. Brent starts writing shit for me to say. And we decide that through the act, I have to stop and like just compliment people as well on the material of their shirts and clothes. And then at some point, I need to order a drink where they bring up the Dino Landini. And I have no jewelry, but I was wearing an Under Armour shirt. So I took off my undershirt and unzipped it all the way down so my chest hair was exposed. And then I got every piece of jewelry I could from a waitress. There was like a bracelet, but at the time it was Christmas themed, but I'm still like decked out in like basically like jewelry that had like Christmas lights on.
Yeah, like costume jewelry.
Yeah, and I made all the rings pinky rings. And
so you had like 3 or 4 rings on each pinky.
Yeah, and then all these chains, and I go up as Dino Landini, and I just open. I'm like, "Hey, everybody! It's nice to be here in Indianapolis. A lot nicer than where I'm from. It's a rough neighborhood called the Spaghetto."
Oh, fuck!
And I start just doing the worst. For 45 minutes.
It's all jokes like that.
Yeah. Mixed with my own because I had to fill the time. While I look at somebody and I'm like looking at somebody wearing just a normal shirt. And I'm like, what is that? Mink? Is that mink shirt? That's beautiful. Looks good on you. I don't know if I could pull it off, but I like the way you look. And then I would just I go, oh, doll, you're beautiful. Oh, what I wouldn't do to you. Just different.
Fucking my blue heaven.
Yeah, just nonsense.
It's dangerous for you to be here in the frozen food department.
Yeah.
Because you could melt all this stuff.
Yeah, it's just that.
Oh.
I'd like to take you out for a steak dinner. Oh, me? Yeah. So so I'm on stage and finally I go, hey, I got a drink here. That's how famous Dino is. Bring me up to Dino Landini. Brent had them make this gigantic drink that was, and it was when I quit drinking, it was basically, I think it was Coke and then a bunch of ice cream. Every sword, umbrella, fruit, vegetable, garnish they could put on it, a sparkler. It was this whipped cream. It was the most. It was like this big, and it looked like what a fun secretary would order for like TGI Fridays. Who gets drunk once every couple months
on the workouting.
Yeah, the kind of woman who wears sunglasses to work because her marriage isn't so good. So so he brings out this absurd girl drink, and I just didn't break character. The whole time I'm just sipping it, and there's just ice cream running down my hands and down my shirt, and the whole time I'm just still doing jokes. And half the audience is just confused, and the other half is dying laughing because they're in on the joke.
Yeah. They get it.
So after 45 minutes, Brent comes out, and he finds like a jacket so he can at least stand behind me like a bodyguard. And I'm selling a CD at the time with my name on it, not Dino Landini. And I'm just signing every one of them when people buy them. God bless Landini. And up until the very last person left, I stayed fully in character the entire time, just ice cream all over me. And like when they would come up to get it signed, I'd be like, "Where are you from?" "Oh, that don't sound real nice. You got to go to Queens. I know this place, best pizza you ever fucking had. Move. I got a line here." So that's how the Dino Landini thing was born, where I just started making the prick sauce videos where,
oh my God.
And then I made puppy butter, which was like you put it on your dick for your dogs. Dino Landini's puppy butter. Oh, they love it. It ain't, I think I go, it ain't animal abuse if they like it. Oh, I'm sorry. It is? All right.
All right.
Just utter nonsense.
He just all of a sudden concedes to kind of being a piece of shit.
Oh, immediately. That's the whole thing. He's just repressed, and all he does is get.
Wasn't the first one you did like putting it on a banana? You're putting the
I put a whole thing on. I'm like,
the screen goes dark and you just hear.
Yeah. So I'm like, you got to smutter on the prick, and then the screen goes dark and you hear all these gagging noises, and it just goes, oh my God, he swallowed the whole thing. And then it cuts back, and I'm just covered in ragu or whatever the fuck.
Brick sauce. Oh my God.
So that was the first time I went on stage as just a different character and did the entire show and merch sales as that character.
I love that. The thing I love though is that the club was cool. They thought it was hilarious. Yeah, and like. You can't fucking do that sometimes. Like, there's clubs where if you would have busted that out, they would have like been mad at you because you didn't do your act. I did it a couple times where I did like a version of it, but like 3 minutes in, like half the crowd's dying, but I could see like the owner kind of like, and so I would switch, and then it was fine. And then they like it. They're like, "Oh, it's funny at the beginning. You kind of fucked with them." Like, yeah, because you could tell you were not happy with me. I wanted to keep going, actually.
Yeah,
because it was fun for me.
Enjoyment. And part of me, like, even when I went on stage, I'm like, I still want them to have a fun show. So if they hated it, I wouldn't have kept going. But people were dying because they got the idea that this was just absurd and something that they weren't ever going to see again. Well, I wasn't going to do it the same way again. I didn't even know what I was saying. I was just in character as a
fucking prick.
As a
fucking prick.
salesman.
Well, see, that reminds me. I think the first time that we met, I think you were actually featuring for Colin Moulton.
Yeah.
And you guys went to a fucking garage sale.
Probably.
And you guys came to the show with all this shit that you bought from the garage sale and had to do shit on stage with it.
Sounds right.
And I remember watching, like, there was like a fucking a dryer, a fucking dryer vent thing, like the snake, you know.
Oh,
the
yeah. The silver
dryer thing.
Yeah.
I remember having that up there. Just if I remember right, I think you guys just tried to, like, you just sales pitched everything. Like everything you had at that you bought at
likely.
the garage sale, like you guys were just like pimping it on.
Yeah, I'm sure we sold it after. I'm sure we gave it a good Tom Dustin.
Oh yeah, and just made up functions for whatever you had that weren't the real functions.
Exactly.
Like you took the dryer thing and was like, look at this feather boa.
Yeah. Yeah, 2 Jonathan Winters acts in a row.
Oh shit, man. Well, that's probably a good place to wrap it up.
All right.
I can't thank you enough, man, for coming on and doing this, spending a little Saturday time with me. We'll do it again. That's the beauty of the theme here. There's plenty of first time stories. So
yeah,
I will definitely be repeating guests, and hopefully you can make time in the future. And Anthony's not paying you too much to fucking not do other shit.
Oh, no, he's anything I can do. If people want to subscribe, compoundmedia.com or download the Kumia Show app.
Absolutely. And know that, Dave had to, fight for this. Well, almost.
Yes. Yeah. Well, in hindsight, I probably should have, but that's a different story altogether. I know. Not a day goes by.
I remember watching it. Just going, God damn, Dave, this is why you're sober right here. Like, better man than me, dude. Because as soon as he stood up.
Yeah, and it's like, well, and being there, you just don't want to get arrested in that situation.
Course,
and it's like,
you're aware of those type of consequences.
Yeah, and in hindsight, I'm like, God. And again, I did all of nothing to deserve a lot of this.
Absolutely.
Shit. So and I take more responsibility for any mistakes I've made. It's like I did nothing, and it's like part of. Yeah, I don't even really want to get into it, but I get what you're saying. Like it's just there's just some people that are genuinely bad human beings. That's really all it breaks down to.
Well, and I remember talking about it at the time, and I remember, like I said to you, it's always been my philosophy, like, especially for a comic, talking shit for a comic is like being a black belt in Taekwondo.
Right.
If you're not willing to collapse someone's windpipe, then there's no reason for you to have a black belt.
And if you go at somebody's family, don't be pissed off when they come back at yours.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like you just lost to a black belt in that moment, and you should just accept your defeat. But instead, you got to go somewhere else with it.
Yeah, because it couldn't, because nobody's ever done that before. Mm-hmm. Because for some reason, and I hate to say it, but and that's what I've learned about moving to New York. And the difference is I come to you if I have an issue.
Yeah.
I'm not a pussy. I don't talk behind backs. I go right to somebody's face, and that's what it was. And it's like, if you're going to just assume that I'm going to let you behave that way and not defend myself because all these pussies have for so many years, you're wrong.
Yeah.
It's unacceptable behavior, and I'm going to defend myself. And that's what it comes down to is people just let him get away with that by going, oh, it's him. And it's like, the fuck that guy. That's not true.
Well, and that's also people, you have the benefit of having not come up in New York.
Right. Where you have to deal
up on the road. And so you weren't going into that. Like most of those people that had let him get away with it, they're people that have him on a pedestal somehow.
Yeah, well, at one time, maybe. I mean,
probably not so much anymore.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
And well, I mean, it's why he doesn't work. and
Yeah.
that's nobody's fault but his own. And it's too bad because at one time he was really talented, but I don't know. I don't know what happened to that guy.
Bitterness.
It honestly, that can be a very ugly, ugly thing if you don't just have any bit of gratitude in your life.
Yeah, you gotta. I always say to keep your intentions pure, have your goals be like. If my goal was to get rich and famous, I'd have blown my head off by now.
It's a
Like
stupid goal.
it's got to be just to work. It's got to be just to do what I want. That's got to be enough.
I find that and I don't really get jealous or bitter anymore. The only time that I find myself going, damn it, is when somebody produces quality.
Mhm.
It doesn't even have to be successful. It's like, it's just if somebody does something right, or the joke is perfect, or the story is great, or the book they wrote is great, or whatever it is, it's like, that's not a jealousy thing. It's more, aspiration.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
that's the
yeah.
only time I find myself now in that situation is of quality. And I try to tell people that it's like, if I don't like a certain thing, it's like, well, you can be jealous of that. It's like, no, I'm not jealous of a special anymore.
Yeah,
There's no
yeah.
reason to be. I can just make one and put it out.
Yeah.
It has the exact same chance of getting viewed as if a company gave it to me.
Exactly.
It's not that. It's that I am envious of quality, and that's why I try to put out quality.
Mm-hmm. Well, and also the time and effort that it takes to produce that quality.
Yeah,
And you know how much is behind that. You're watching a 5-minute video, and you know how long it actually took to make that video.
And sometimes
if it's that good.
Yeah, and sometimes, like, even when I did This Is Not Happening, it's my werewolf story and arrest. Like, it took me a long time to be able to tell that on stage or figure out how to relate that to an audience, to even talk about that darkest part of my life. And people, I don't know if, yeah, you see that 15-minute thing, but the amount of struggle that I had to live in my life and then work up just to get to that moment. It's like, you can comment all you want, but you're doing nothing. And that's pathetic.
Yeah.
So is what it is. It's you get it. I mean, you get attacked online and anything, but it's so weak now because it's so prevalent that it's like,
cliche. You're just being
it's just cliche. Sad. Yeah, it's just, and at one time I remember even the first time I would get attacked, you're like, wow, this is nuts, especially with the Opie and Anthony fans. Then the 800th time somebody's like, you're a dullard. It's like, why are you talking like Jim Norton and tweeting at me if you hate him so much?
Yeah.
Why do you watch shows and obsess about people if you hate us so much? You're fucking, I'm assuming, an adult, and this is your life. And then once you just realize there's nothing sadder than that, you just ignore it. And it feels so much better. And other people get consumed by it.
It probably gives you a little bit of empathy, actually, for that person.
You do feel sad for them at some points, especially when you do decide to hit back just once and it's so fucking easy. Yeah, and then you see how thin-skinned they are, and they just their world collapses.
Usually what I do is I'll just correct grammar in that moment. Yeah. Like they always use like the wrong form of your or something, and I'll just put the little star and apostrophe RE.
Yeah,
anything else.
It's like one guy
through the fucking roof.
Yeah, one guy is wearing the Beverly Hills Cop jacket because it's awesome, the Lions jacket, and he's like, you should set the thing on fire. I was like, I will if you're wearing it. And then now he won't tag me when he talks shit about me because he's afraid,
He doesn't want you to come back.
And and a lot of the times when I put stuff out, I'll tweet something out, and now I hit only people that I follow can respond.
Yeah,
because it just upsets people so much, and it's like, you had 8 years to call me a fag or whatever fucking word. You had plenty of time. Now it's my turn to just do what I want to.
Right.
It's like, what are you, thin skin? It's like, no, I just don't want to hear from you.
Yeah.
And then if I do, you'll quote tweet it, and I get to read how mad you are that I won't let you comment. It's fucking great.
Fucking chicken shit.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to hear the truth.
Yeah, it's like, no, I'm reading what you're saying about me now. I just think it's funny how angry you are that you can't comment on something.
Angry about this total stranger that you don't know at all.
Oh, I love that. It's like, you're so thin-skinned, you can't even take it. It's like, you have a fake name.
Yeah.
It doesn't
That's always one of my biggest things. Like, I'll get it on Twitter too, but I mean, usually it's sports related, you know, and
Right.
they'll fucking hammer me about something, and I'm just like, oh, well, yeah, you got a lot of balls, fucking Oakley 54.
Right.
Like, my name is Bill fucking blank. That's me right there, my picture.
Yeah, it's like I don't even focus anymore. And now because I used to like just scroll through long enough and occasionally be able to find out who they are.
Yeah.
And it's like you just dox them and put up a photo and then just rip on it. And it's like, fuck you, man. It's private. It's like, well, what? No, man. Same rules.
Yeah.
If I find out who you are, I'm telling everybody.
Yeah.
it's great.
Just because I'm me being a public figure and you talking to me just put you in public figure status. Now you're a public figure for me to fucking rip on. So
and
the rules are gone.
Why I fully think that anonymity should not exist online and on Twitter and stuff
I
like
agree.
that. Because it's like if you have an opinion, if you don't have the balls to say it out of your mouth and your name, fuck you.
Yep, 100%. And that's what all these fake fucking accounts. They say whatever they want and troll people, and that's like the online bullying shit that makes people off themselves, is fucking people like that.
That's what bothers me. Is it's like I'm 38. It doesn't affect me. I mean, at first it did when I first moved there, but eventually you're just like, wow, you're mad at nothing.
Yeah,
like you sure do watch me a lot for a man who hates me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what bothers me is the fact that kids and the suicide rate in teenage girls is up 300%, and there is 1% of the country that's sociopaths who don't realize that they really are hurting somebody. And that's what bugs me is there's these kids growing up in this environment that is so judgmental and so on such a mass scale. It's like in the movie The Social Dilemma, they said the same thing. If you used to be judged by 6 friends about your haircut. Now you're judged by every human being on the planet. A 14-year-old cannot mentally digest that.
Right.
And that's the problem is there's these monsters who manipulate that and kids kill themselves over it. And I can't, that's what I do hate about the current political thing where Twitter won't let you see certain sides of because of their own politics, but you'll let a kid get bullied until he kills himself.
Right.
They have no fucking morals.
No.
So
none. All right, man. Well, again, I appreciate it so much.
Yes, sir.
Having you. Love your show, and we will do this again, man.
Likewise, brother. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Peace.
All right. Bye.